If you're wavering about that idea that you're carrying right now, whether or not you should pursue it, I want you to think about the process of raising and using energy in magic and spell work to affect change. And I want you to understand for a moment that your creative ideas, that inspiration energy, it needs to go somewhere. And if it doesn't flow through you and become something, even if imperfect, even if not quite what you imagined, if it doesn't flow through you and become something, it's going to leave. There's some irony here in that after I made a video about being ambitious and unwell, I got sick for like 3 weeks. So it is springtime. All the kids are back at school. They're bringing stuff home. We're out and about more. And that means illness, okay? The thing that really irritates me about it is that I was feeling incredibly proud of myself for showing up here every Monday, right? I wanted to commit to that schedule. And now I realize, like, committing to that schedule, if I really want to take this seriously, means not just making time to film and edit and upload every week. It also means anticipating illness. It means anticipating needing breaks. And that means having some pre-recorded videos ready to go that I can not feel like I have failed in some way. Like, I know my channel is small. Like, I'm not so much focused on like a certain outcome right now. Like, my goals with YouTube, with my blog, with my newsletter that I just launched, even with my services, it's really about pushing myself. It's about building something that I'm proud of. It's about using my creative energy. And the sort of deadlines or expectations I'm setting for myself are for myself, which gets me into what I wanted to talk about today. Today's video, I'm not gonna like lament too much on illness, but I do want to talk about showing up and being in the driver's seat of your life. So in the last 3 weeks, even though I've been away from YouTube for a bit, something that has happened for me is I have launched my newsletter. It's called Enchanted Ambitions, and it's all about bridging the gap between our strategic, analytical, ambitious mind with our need for spiritual fulfillment, meaning, purpose, and our belief in magic. Our need to feel like we are designing a future, but also that miracles can happen. What does that intersection look like? In this first edition, we're talking about the magic of the dandelion. We're talking about whether or not you should quit and how to make a decision on that question that comes from a centered, grounded place. There's also some good tarot stuff in there and other resources that I'm sort of curating and collecting to share back with you, things that are inspiring me lately. As a special thing for this first edition, I'm also giving away the content of a course that I'm building for free. It's called Ritual and Results, and it's a variety of practices meant to help you reclaim and redefine what leadership looks like for this next arc of human history. I know, a big promise, right? But really the future is up for grabs. It's going to be up to all of us to redefine what leadership looks like, to create healthy work environments, healthy management styles, regenerative business models. And this guide is all about getting in touch with your inner self to make that happen from your role, your position, your business, whatever it might be. This content is only going to be available for the people who subscribe for the first edition. So if you are interested in that, go for it. Otherwise, in the future, it's going to be part of an email course that I'm building. Essentially, this content is the foundations of the course that I'm building right now, and I wanted to give that away for free as an extension of thank you for people who are early in supporting this newsletter. I now have, I think, like 15 subscribers, which is, I know 15 sounds like a small number. Like, I am not some big YouTuber or big content creator on LinkedIn or anything. But the fact that there are people who are happy to allow me to occupy a slot in their inbox, which I know is cluttered. Okay, I know their inbox is full. I know they have a barrage of like emails they're never going to read. The fact that they are happy to have me in there, give me a slot. Okay? I cannot tell you how good that feels. And so on that, I want to talk about showing up. And I don't know what the fuck I'm doing right now. I'm just going for it, right? I'm just vibing. I'm just tapping into the things that make me feel inspired and creative and fizzy, and I'm making stuff out of it. And I'm not worrying about a revenue number or a specific outcome or hitting a follower count or how many views these videos are getting. Would it be smart to start thinking about those kinds of things eventually? Absolutely. Like this is my jam, right? Is business plans and roadmaps and ROI and hitting your kid. Like I get that. However, I don't think you can really fully apply a strategic business plan and like a go-to-market strategy if you don't have the essence of what you're inspired to do fully worked out yet. And so, I knew I wanted to do the work witch. I knew I wanted to revive my YouTube channel, and I knew I wanted to write. So I started with Substack, actually, like a couple months ago, and I was writing to Substack like almost every day. I've now taken a lot of that down because I realized like I was just going on Substack because I saw people talking about Substack, not because it was actually like aligned with what I wanted. And so then I started posting to my blog. I started posting to Threads. I revived a Tumblr account, right? And I was posting here. And I was working with my coach and sort of trying to figure out, what is a strategy that I want to go in on for growth. And in those conversations, what I realized is that I wasn't actually targeting growth yet. Right now, I'm interested in finding my rhythm, finding my voice, finding what I'd love to do. And for me, that is YouTube here is creative. Okay, I'm showing up on YouTube not because I want to be a YouTuber, not because I want sponsorships, but because this makes me feel creative. I love talking to you. I love yapping a little bit, and I love to sort of spice up my day by allowing my thoughts to flow freely, to get in touch with my voice. And then after I make these videos, I go, oh, okay, there's all this stuff I wanted to say. Here's all the concepts. Now I can go organize them and make them useful and put them into something. And after I make the videos, that's when I can sit down and write that newsletter. That's when I can sit down and write the blog posts. That's when I can sit down and actually engage with people on social media without like the need to just engage, but coming from a place of wanting to collaborate, wanting to have conversations, wanting to learn about people. This is a great way for me to start doing that. And I think this is similar to when I was writing creatively, when I was working on my novels, when I was making art. There was a sense that I had to sort of show progress, but also show perfection. And I wasn't sure how much of the struggle of creative work and inspired work was appropriate for social media. And this time around, trying to do something for myself and on my own, I'm realizing how much fun the struggle is and how little I give a shit that people see me trying, or how little I give a shit that sometimes it might be cringe. It's so liberating to, instead of worrying about fitting into a specific box or waiting until I am enough or I feel like I'm enough in order to be seen, to just say, well, no, actually, I have a vision, I have ideas, I have inspirations, and that is enough, right? They are beautiful enough for me to at least try, right? And I want you to do the same thing at the end of the day, because I know that you're sitting on some ideas right now. I know that you've kicked them around. I know that you've probably been in the passenger seat of the car while someone's driving, you're looking out the window and you go, oh, you know what would be really cool? What if da-da-da-da? There's something there, right? You have some sort of idea right now that you just keep going, Anyway, wouldn't that be nice if? And what you're not recognizing is that that idea is for you to try and do. And right now, we are in a really crappy situation, economically, politically, socially. I mean, name a category, right? Things are bad. And I don't see a lot of people taking their activism or their desire to see activism, their desire to see revolution, and I don't see them bringing that energy back into their own life and getting into the driver's seat, taking the chariot of their life and getting in the driver's seat and not being a witness to your life, not being just a passenger to your life, but getting in the driver's seat, making some bold moves, making some choices. This is where I think what I want to do with my content and with my channel actually gets a little complicated, and for my own career. Because on the one hand, I do believe that we can change the office environment, the work environment, careers, corporations. I do believe we have an opportunity to change them for the better. I do believe that we have an opportunity to affect change, to create better systems. But that's hard, right? That is not going to be easy because there's so many barriers in place to preventing that from happening, because you're going to be accountable for certain KPIs. You're going to be accountable for things that you were never even instructed to do, right? You're going to be put into a really linear progression path, put into a box, expected to show up a certain way and be really dependable in a certain way, to not waste company time or money on ideas that are a little too innovative or a little too out there. You're going to be asked to wrestle your infinite capacity for imagination and dreams and ideas and creation, wrestle that down into something very understandable that can have clear metrics associated with it, that can have a clear plan. And as somebody who is really interested in the startup space, I'm familiar with this too. Like, even the two projects I'm working on right now are pre-seed, and both of them have this inspired vision and idea. And when I'm doing the competitive analysis, it gets so bogged down in what these other apps are doing or these other companies are doing, and how we need to figure out how to either prevent sort of any overlap or competition, or actually capture their users and capture their market share, right? And that's not how I'm thinking about it. Like, my heart says, no, build something beautiful, build something that's fun, build something that brings joy to use, and people will come. I don't give a shit what other people are doing, right? There's that part of me as well. And I think artists operate this way. And we don't have that similar vision for business because of, the way that we attribute resources and talent and all that kind of stuff. But I wish that we had a little bit more of that. And I think that's where the entrepreneurial or side hustle thing becomes attractive, where it's like, well, actually, I'm just going to build something because I want to. And I'm not going to worry too much about the outcome. I'm going to just do it because it's a calling, because it's from me, because it's my thing. I don't know yet how we bring that energy into a corporate workplace, but I think there are some companies that are trying. I think there are some companies that are design thinking first, that are ideation heavy, that have high agency and high autonomy teams. But that's not for everyone. Not everyone's lucky enough to be in a corporation or a startup or a group or an office that is working in that direction. And so here's what I want to say to you. If you feel at all, if you're wavering about that idea that you're carrying right now, whether or not you should pursue it, I want you to think about the process of raising and using energy in magic and spell work to affect change. And I want you to understand for a moment that your creative ideas, that inspiration energy, it needs to go somewhere. And if it doesn't flow through you and become something, even if imperfect, even if not quite what you imagined, if it doesn't flow through you and become something, it's going to leave and find somebody else who will alchemize it, transfer it into something, manifest it, whatever you want to say, okay? The other option is you do take that inspiration energy and you apply it at work. And you can either have some control over that, where you can decide what sort of vision it's applied toward, right? Or that creative impulse, that inspired energy is going to go to a vision that was not really yours. And that's me. I loved a company I worked at. I loved the team. I loved the founder's vision. And I loved it so much that I allowed all of my creative inspiration to go into that company. And even though I knew in my heart that what they were building and what the priorities were, and I shouldn't say they, because I was part of the leadership team, what we were building wasn't quite right. And it's not that I never tried to steer us toward what I thought was better. I did. But I didn't put up a big enough fight, and I regret it to this day. That I thought that the founding vision and energy should have served the market in a very specific, interesting way. But frankly, I don't think it was profitable enough. I think we were chasing a different profitable route. And so that's what we had to build for. And so I put all my energy into that, but I was never really satisfied. I never really felt like the purpose that I showed up to fulfill in that role or in that company, I don't think it ever felt like something I could stand on with joy, in the same way that in the last 6 months I've built the Work Witch. It's not making nearly as much money. It doesn't have a bunch of employees, right? It's just a small little thing I'm doing on the side. I've had like 10 clients so far. I have, 10, 15 subscribers to my newsletter, 20, I think. I forget. Some people signed up this morning. I haven't looked at the recent numbers. But I'm having so much more fun here. So I want you to think about your inspiration energy. And I want you to be a magician. And I want you to decide what you're going to build with that energy. Are you going to build something for yourself? It could be a side hustle. It could be a creative project. It doesn't need to be monetized. It could serve your community, right? Build something with it. Or are you going to give it away to a company? Which maybe is a good idea, frankly, right? They need to be changed. They need to be better. If you're in a position where you can build within your company, do that. Or are you going to let that inspiration energy go to somebody else? I'm going to end it there. That's kind of where I'm at right now. If you'd like to subscribe to Enchanted Ambitions, you can do that. Once we reach around mid-May, I'm going to cut the Ritual and Results free content, free gift thing off, because we'll be heading into issue 2, which is going to come out the first week of June before I head to Italy all by myself. I'm very excited. No kids, no husband, just me, a suitcase, and all the pasta that I can stuff into my body in 10 days. I'll leave the link below, and in the meantime, don't let anyone treat you like shit. Have a great week, and I will be back on my Monday schedule. Bye.